Welcome everyone to another Monday night call with the Mesh team. This is a regular call every Monday night at the same time, and every week we get a different speaker on. And tonight you are going to be dazzled by the gorgeous Simson. She is absolutely a rock star in this business, and one of my soul sisters in the business as well. I love this woman's energy and what she's about and what she stands for. She's got an incredible tribe of women as part of her gratitude gang. If you haven't seen what they're creating, go and check it out. She's all over Insta and Facebook, and she'll tell you a little bit more about that as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for giving us your time tonight when you didn't have to, and the way that you pour into others and the way that you show up. We just absolutely adore you, and we just want to say how grateful we are for you being on this call tonight. So if you can share a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing Juice Plus and all that kind of jazz, that would be amazing.
I can do that. For sure. So thanks for having me. It's really nice to get onto things like this because I'm so used to my training, and I feel like I always say to my girls, and we have a couple of guys, but we're mostly girls, I'm like, you guys must get so sick of me just like talking at you sometimes. And so it's nice to see fresh faces because it's always like the same people in my team training. I love them, but it's the same people. So I've been in Juice Plus for 2.5 years now. I started off as a customer. And I think like that's one thing that a lot of people underestimate is like you never know what your like customers could become, because I think in the beginning I was like, I am not doing that business. I had seen it. I was like, I'm not doing one of those pyramid schemes. That's gross. I'm not hunting down all my friends. Like I had all the objections that you guys hear all the time. But the products just made mountains of sense to me, and I decided to get on them. And then I kind of was like authentically just recommending them to friends, and I understood how simple it was. I was like, oh, I get it. Like I've had such good results here. Like this is all it is. I could just recommend, and it's not a, creepy way to do it. And you're not hunting people down. And so when I got started, I kind of assumed that this for me would be a side hustle to my business. I was working as a health coach, and I'm like, this will be just maybe a couple of $1,000s extra eventually. But the truth was I was getting really sick of being a health coach. I don't know if anyone here is a health coach or anything like that, but it's very energetically draining. And I'm sure like personal trainers, like anyone in the health field would feel the same. Like energetically, you're just giving. And there's almost like a capacity to which you go, I actually can't do this anymore. Like I can't just listen to someone else's problems, and I can't just always be holding space for other people. I actually need something that's filling me up as well. And on top of that, there was a kind of ceiling to what I could earn there. There's only so much you can charge as a health coach. And I was charging a lot. A session with me would have been like, $220 for an hour. But what people were thinking they were paying for an hour, they're actually paying for all the work I was doing outside of that. And I couldn't charge any more, but I was giving so much. And I was like, after I understood what Juice Plus was, I was like, I'm done. You guys might know of Rebecca Neal. She's under Jess Shembri. I was coaching her. She was a coaching client of mine, and she was doing Juice Plus as well. And I remember one day she told me what she was making, and I'm like, I could make that here. Like I was like, okay, this feels so much easier than being a health coach. So then I started to treat it like a business. So in the beginning it was like, oh, I'll recommend it to clients. But when that light bulb switched and I realized what it could be, I really started treating it like a business. And by that, I mean, I showed up every single day. I was tracking things. I think one thing that my team do really well is we track numbers. So if you're trialing a new way of doing things, or if you're, wondering if things are converting, we track numbers. How many people are you speaking to? Out of those people, how many actually show interest? And if you're speaking to a lot of people, but not many of them are really giving a damn what you do, then are you showing up enough on social media to create the curiosity for them? And then if people are watching an event, but they're not really, wanting to speak to you afterwards, then maybe there's not enough relationship building at the start. So I think tracking numbers is a massive, massive way to grow your business quickly. And so for me, that was one of the big things I did. I tracked everything. Like I knew how many customers I did each month, how many customers my team did, all of those things. But the main thing was just showing up. You know, I think for so many people, and I see this in my team all the time, it's like they kind of come in and they think they can post a little bit and it'll be like this magic thing that will happen. But in reality, it does. It takes all this work of like, yeah, you actually have to show up and help people. And so I hit NMD in like a ridiculously short amount of time, I understand now, which I think was like 13 months. I hit NMD 24 Club, and then I got franchisee and rookie of the year, which I was like, I didn't even know what that meant because I was like still so new. I was like, I don't actually know what's going on here. But I remember Adam said to me, you're just ignorance on fire. He's like, you don't even know what you're doing, but you're just doing it. And that to me was another one of those big things where I was like, that's what I feel like everyone needs to do. You don't need to know everything. Like, I was at NMD school in New Zealand the week before last. And I told them I actually didn't know what POB was when I hit NMD. I was like, what the hell is POB qualified? 5,000 what? Like, I had no idea what was going on. But what I knew that was important was that I was talking to a lot of people. I was getting a lot of customers. I was making sure that I was, getting SDVFs pumping through and helping people in that way. And I was really focused on the things that mattered. And to me personally, POB didn't really matter. I don't know what it means. Like, I know what it means now, but I don't think it matters for everyone to know, especially in the beginning. And then, yeah, things sort of, it kind of went up really quickly. And then things have just started to steadily grow slowly and normally now, which has been really nice because that first year of hustle almost killed me. I started this with a 6-week-old baby and my full-time business, and I was the sole income earner of my family, so I was to not I was very busy. So yeah, you can't be in that momentum always, but I think if you are wanting to build something long term, just knowing like, okay, maybe I'm going to give my life to this for a year, and then I'm going to like steady and get it to a good place. And then, right now I'm like, okay, I'm giving my life up to this again. Like, I made a declaration the other day. I said, I'm going to do NMD again. Like, I'm going to re-promote to NMD over the next year and a half. I don't think I could do it in a year again, but I'm like, I'm going to go back into that hustle phase and that fun phase where you're just building. And I think if you can understand that is just a part of this business. Sometimes you're in massive growth. Sometimes you're just stabilizing and making sure that you're really securing what you've got. Then it becomes a lot more fun in my mind. I think it's a lot of fun when you get to do it that way. But that's kind of been my journey in a nutshell. I love this business so much. For those of you who probably don't know much about me, I had issues with my heart a couple of months ago. So in April, I had what's called a TIA stroke. So I just randomly lost vision in my eye. And I went to, ophthalmologists. I went to all these doctors, and they worked out that I had actually had a stroke, and that I had this weird condition where there was a hole in between the chambers of my heart. And you didn't know that. Yeah, you've had your own stuff going on. Of course you didn't. But yeah, I've got this thing called ASD, which is not the autism thing. It's the heart thing. But yeah, I have a hole in between these chambers of my heart. So all of a sudden I'm getting all these tests done, and I'm going to keep this really short and sweet, but I was getting all these tests done, worked out I had actually had 2 strokes. So I've lost function in a part of my brain that luckily doesn't really affect how I live day to day. And then I've lost that vision in my left eye, which won't come back now. It's just gone. And they worked out that this hole was allowing blood clots up through into my brain. And so that kind of needed to be fixed. And that was like a really hectic time. So obviously you find out you've had a stroke and everything turns upside down. I had to have 2 operations within about a month. One where they basically went in to make sure they could measure what was going on, and then another one to close the hole up. And it was like a really awful time, because if the second operation didn't work, I was going to go straight in about 3 weeks later to open heart. And I'm like, that's not fun and obviously extremely risky. But the reason I share this story is because the 3 months where I was almost completely out of action, getting tests done, having my surgeries, recovering, I took a whole month off during my surgeries just to recover, where I lay in bed. And those 3 months, I had my highest earning months of my entire time in Juice Plus. And it's just such a testament to what you can build in this business, is that when you don't actually, like, you can't show up, when you actually can't physically do what you need to do, when you've built something so strong like we get to here, and love other people and really hold their hand while they build something, they show up for you when you really need it. And my income obviously saved me. I know that a lot of people would have something like this happen and they wouldn't actually be able to pay bills. They would have to go back to work. They wouldn't have the luxury of recovering for a month. You know, they would have like a week and then have to try and go back to work. Yeah, and it was incredible, the fact that, you know, my team showed up. I didn't have to get on trainings. Everyone just rallied together. And we've had some of our team affected by the bushfires in New South Wales. A couple of our team are rural girls. And again, one of them just got Partner of the Month, and she spent the month not doing anything except for the bare minimum. And she won that because she had a team who showed up for her when everything was going wrong. So she had, you know, she lost like 3 properties. She's had, you know, some pretty traumatic stuff happen. And yeah, like, again, it's just a testament to what we get to build here. So anyway, that was a really long version of an introduction.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, so much has happened for you this year. It's incredible. And who would have thought, hey? Hole in the heart.
Yeah.
Boy, I always knew you're a little bit heartless.
I know. Well, I always say there's a metaphysical reason for every physical ailment. And I actually used to find, this is going a little bit hippie, but I used to find it hard to receive love. And I'm like, maybe like physically it's because it was all just going out and into my head.
Who knows? Maybe. Oh, what an incredible story. If anyone has a question, feel free to come off mute or whack it into the chat. I would love to know, you know, when you say that you and your team track your numbers, is there a certain way that you teach people to do that? Like, do people do like spreadsheets, or they just do it on a sheet of paper, or do you have some sort of system that you use?
Yeah. So my main system, I only teach girls who are about SC, like a strong SC or SSC, to do this. But you can do it earlier because it's probably easier to do it earlier. But we track numbers through the month. So on every 5th day, so the 5th, 10th, 15th, 25th, 30th, end of month, how many customers do you have? How many new team? How many new SDVFs? How many people have already qualified? And then what I find is really helpful there is the way it's set up. I can kind of look at, you know, I can say, okay, in October, on the 10th of the month, we had 50 customers in the whole team, whereas the month before we had 20. So this month is going really well so far. What's changed? What are we doing differently? What's working? Who's come in that's making a big shift? Or if those numbers are down, then I know, okay, there needs to be a bigger push towards the end of the month. Or if there's not as many SDVFs coming through, I know I need to kind of dive into my reports and see if there's anyone who really needs support there. And for me, they're the main ones that really count. I think knowing during the month where you're at, because if you can say to yourself, okay, we're down right now, you know, like we're half what we did last month, you can actually kind of put things into place for your team that really help them to understand that. And yeah, I think, you know, I like tracking, but I think at the minimum, start there, because anything else is just going to be a bit of a nightmare. And then from there, like if we ever do a challenge or anything like that, like, you know, shake trials or any of those things, we just track how many of them worked, how many of them, you know, how many people took interest, how many people actually purchased after that, what worked, what didn't. That's kind of my way of doing it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. During the boot camp, everyone had to track their numbers, how many people they spoke to, invited, all that kind of thing, using one of the Google forms. So then I had the pleasure of going through and collating all the numbers, which was awesome.
Fun.
Lots of fun. And I'm still going with it, actually, and it finished nearly 2 weeks ago. So, but no, it's been lots of fun. So Alison has a question. She asked, how do you get a person to start taking action once they have said yes to the business?
Yeah. My biggest thing is, I think, and I might contradict what other leaders might say, but I think a lot of leaders focus on like, oh, they have to have this big why, and like, are they going to retire their partner, or are they going to quit their job, or, have their own maternity leave, or whatever it is. And sometimes I think to myself, like, that is just so overwhelming for someone who's just come in. Like for me, I was like, I just want to make like a couple of $100. Like and then it was like, oh, I just want to make like rent or something like that. And I think in the beginning, it's figuring out for people what's on the table. So, what is available to them. And I think, in the beginning, if someone goes really fast, and in their first 2 months, they can earn $1,000. If they get SDVF done, that's a $400 bonus plus, another probably 400 in commissions themselves, plus, DVF and the DVF bonus. Like, you can make some pretty good money. And so I think it's the question of, first of all, what would they do with the $100 bonus from DVF? If $100 was going to land into your bank account next Thursday, because we get paid bonuses on Thursdays now, $100 is going to land in your bank account on Thursday, what would that actually mean to you? What would that do for you? And if someone's like, well, not very much, like, I don't really care, like $100, that's nothing. Okay, but like, what if it was $800? Would that mean anything? Like, what would you do with that money? Like, if you were able to get that into your bank account in the next 30 to 60 days, would you be a little bit more excited? And finding out what really moves them, because you get different people in this business. Like, some people are thrilled with $100. Some people are kind of like, yeah, 1,000 is good. And so it's understanding what's really driving them. And for everyone, it is money, whether or not they'll admit it, because money allows you to live in accordance with your values. And if people are like, I'm not in it for the money, then it's just simply asking them if they're cool with you donating whatever they earn through Juice Plus to Nutrition Plus, and they can just do this for the love, if that's how they really feel about it. And most people will be like, no, I don't want to donate the money. Like, I still want it. I'm not in it for the money, but I still want the money. So it's understanding from them what it is that's going to really excite them, and then helping them to build towards that vision. I think that vision is so important. And I think the big vision of, working for yourself, traveling more, buying your own home is really exciting. But in those like first few, days and weeks, it is so important that people just understand what that first $100,000, $500,000 is going to mean to them, and where it's going to go. And I offer, if someone's really like, if you can feel they're all in, like if you can feel they're really going for it, I get them to find a way to commit to where that money is going to go, kind of already spend it. Like, are you going to spend it on something for yourself? I make them book in a massage, or, pay or book for something travel wise, or tell their partner that that's their contribution that year, that month. I'm paying off the mortgage repayment this month, or whatever it is. I get them to like kind of put their stake in the ground and really make sure that that is okay. Like, they're not just saying it to themselves and they're saying it to me. They're actually doing something that means that they're actually going to get that money. And, I find that really helps, just having something that they know they're working towards, not just a dollar value, but what that's going to buy them. And then again, I kind of also understand that some people will join and just do nothing, and that's okay. Like, I think for most people, it's like 1 in 6 will become an SC, I believe. And then, even sometimes you get an SC who becomes SC and does nothing. So that's okay. It's just, you got to make up the numbers. So for me, it's, with people who are willing to do the work without needing to be really dragged, I'm working with the people who are working, and the other ones just loving them where they're at. I kind of have a bit of a belief that until someone hits DVF, they're a customer. And even when they hit SDVF, they're just a really strong customer who's referring still. And once they're past SDVF, then it's like, okay, like you're really doing this, like you're really like committing to doing this and making this something massive, if that kind of makes sense. That makes sense?
It does, honey. And I love that you brought that up, that they are still a customer in the beginning, because it's so important that we still love on them as if they're a customer. So many of us bring them in and then we stop all customer care. And I think it's so important that we still nurture that relationship. And I totally agree with you as well. So I've just started a new team member. She's in her 60s and she doesn't want to go rapidly. She doesn't want to build the business like we do, So using the 3 mantras is such a good way to take the pressure off those people and just say, you know what, we've got 3 team mantras. You're acceptable as you are. You go at your own pace. And whether you do a little bit or a lot, you're a blessing in our team. And we don't ever want people to feel like failures. We want people to hang in the business. And, you know, one of my team members has been with me for 5 years and had never brought on a team member, had never got a check. I don't think she'd ever got a check over $200 in 5 years. And then this month just got her biggest check. It was over $1,000, brought on her first teamie 2 months ago. She's off and running. And if I had made her feel like a failure or, you know, booted her out because she wasn't doing anything, imagine that. Like, she would have probably quit. Most people do quit. No one's going to stick it out after 5 years of earning. Some months she was earning a couple of bucks, you know what I mean? But now she's found her stride. She's popped. And that's what we don't realize. We don't realize when people are going to pop. And, you know, Lauren Slocum taught us that. Lauren LaHave taught us, just let people stay in the community because they will pop at different times, and let them know that that's okay. Awesome. So that was great. And now Barbie's saying, what does your DMO look like, Ange?
It's really bad. I have the worst. I don't even have a DMO. I'm really bad.
Give us 2 versions. Give us the version now, and then give us the version when you're in hustle mode.
Okay, so the version right now is just do what I can as I can. I'm only quite recently full-time with my kids. So I used to be 50-50 with my ex, and now he works full-time. So he has them every second weekend, but he also travels to America every couple of months for like a couple of weeks. So I'm like learning and adjusting here. But my number one, as soon as I sit down at my desk, what is the first thing I'm doing is checking on the people who I'm in conversation with about, you know, becoming customers or team. I keep everything as much as possible in separate chats. So I talk to my team in Voxer, which is like a walkie-talkie app, which is really cool. We do stuff through that. And then all of my prospects and potentials are in Messenger or on Instagram Messenger. And so for me, it's like, okay, once I go into Facebook, the conversations in there are potentials or like friends and family. And same with Instagram, you know, it's checking in there and seeing who am I talking to? Who do I need to follow up with? Because one of the things that, and this is probably a quality problem that not everyone has, but I would often kind of forget, like someone would kind of show interest and the conversation would be going and then I'd forget to follow up. And I'm like, you know, a couple of months later, I'd see a message from them and I'd look back at the messages above and I'd be like, oh my God, they wanted to get on the products and I didn't actually follow up with them. And that's like a customer that I could have had a couple of months ago that I now don't have. So I think it's really important that you're just constantly going through that. I use Teensy. I love Teensy. And that for me, because I'm not always the most organized person naturally, Teensy just says to me like, hey, you need to follow up with this person. Hey, you need to do 5 reach outs. Hey, you need to check on like these team members. For me, it's just like, it makes my life so much easier. So I highly recommend Teensy. I've asked him if he's going to make an iPhone app because sometimes I'm like, I feel like I need to be on my computer to do this properly. But yeah, I've had a lot of systems in the past. I used to have a system where my computer is one of the big Mac computers, and I'd have post-its, and as soon as I'd start a conversation with someone who seemed like they're interested, their name would go on the left-hand side of my screen, and then when they were like, they had seen an event, it would go at the top of the screen, and then when they were like, I'm ready to go, it would go on the side of the screen. So I'd be like, okay, these people are ready to go, these people I need to follow up with, these people I'm having conversations with, and then like my team would be down the bottom, my new team for the last 2 months. So I've tried so many systems to try and stay organized, but Teensy is like thebomb.com. I can't recommend it. It's so like, honestly, it's like $10 to $15 a month. It's so worth it for me, personally. I hope that helps. So I have a crappy DMO.
I love it. And I'm the same. Like some days, especially when you've got the kids around, it's so hard to stay on schedule.
Oh.
So Teensy, I love that you can just log in those stolen moments and go, shit, where I'm at. Okay, I'll just start with the follow-ups and I'll just get them done.
Yeah.
And then once you've got those done, okay, now I'll do the reach outs or I'll do the, touching base and everything. So if you're not on Teensy, honestly, it's such a good way to organize your contacts. So I love that. And then on bits of paper, this is how crazy I am because I haven't categorized in Teensy. I've got people's names in the different towns around Australia. And oh my God,
That's
and
so
I've
good.
lost my Gold Coast list. And I'm like, no, I'm like, it's like 5 pages long of people. I'm like, oh my God, it's time to start, tagging people's locations in Teensy so I can just bring, those people.
I have like a really morbid brain where I'm like, I can't do anything on paper because what if like, this sounds really messed up, but what if my house burns down and everything's gone? I'm like, everything needs to be digital. Everything needs to be in the cloud. Like the amount of times I've lost a notebook or like something's just disappeared or I've accidentally thrown something out, I'm like, it needs to be digital for me, but whatever works.
Awesome. All right, come on. There's got to be more questions out there. This has been so much gold too. Thank you, Ange.
Hope so.
And isn't it great to hear? Isn't it refreshing to hear that there's NMDs that just don't have these structured DMOs either? Like if it, and honestly, it's, as Ange said before, you're going to have these massive big peaks of high energy, high hustle times, and then it will plateau out a little bit. But you're not always going to have that balance or that structure in your day, and you're going to have the flexibility around it. If you have a look at mine, Ange, this is quite funny. This is my days. This is my week, actually. That's all color-coded and in kind of 15-minute lots. And I've got like the pink is my time, and then I've got the blue, which is the kids and the family, and then the orange is, one business, and then I've got another business, and yeah, and then the weekends is just full of fun and adventure. So
that's like my virtual calendar. So my iCal is like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like always changing things so I can just drag and drop things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had to do it because I wasn't putting stuff in for me. I wasn't filling my cup, the pink bits in there. So if it's not scheduled, then I don't tend to do it. So that really helped. All right. We've got another question. How many hours per day, week do you work on the business?
So right now I worked out that I probably spend about 25 to 30 hours of like solid work on the business, like sitting and working. And I have like my daughter's in kindy a couple of days a week. So I've only really got about 2 to 3 days where I'm not entertaining her. And she's hard work, that kid. She's a freaking hurricane. I love her, but she's like crazy. So when she's home, like I'll try and knock some things out. She doesn't really sleep. I'll try and knock some things out, but I won't get a whole lot done. So I just make the most of that, and then evenings. But when I'm in like hustle mode, I'm spending every moment I possibly can. Like when I'm in hustle mode, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go to bed until midnight tonight because I'm going to put the kids to bed and I'm going to work. And when I'm driving, I'm going to be doing calls with my kids in the back of the car. Like I'm literally going to drive around the Gold Coast and just be like, here's an iPad, mum's on calls, because it's the only way they won't annoy me if they're like strapped into a car seat. So for me personally, like at the moment it's 25 to 30, but it's high quality work. I'm not scrolling Instagram. I'm not watching cat videos on YouTube. I'm not watching every single training that Linda does or Adam and Kira do or anyone does. I'm actually working. Because you get to the point where you could watch a training when you really need to watch a training. Like when your belief is dropping or when you feel like you're like, oh, I'm not nailing this part of my business. That's when you watch a training. So yeah, that's it, 25 to 30. But if you want to build something, every spare hour you have, like I don't, and I say this to everyone, I don't watch TV at all. I don't know what Game of Thrones is. I don't watch anything at all. Like, because that to me is just a waste of time. If I've got spare time, it's like personal development, listening to podcasts. I only listen to like GoPro, Network Marketing Ninja, Fraser, like Often Ambitious. I listen to network marketing podcasts, and then a couple of my friends have podcasts, so I listen to theirs, and that's it. I really just put everything I can into this business. So yeah, that's my time.
I love that, honey. Love it, love it, love it. And do you have a simple customer care system?
It is not simple, no, but I do have a customer care simple. So I have like a PDF that all my team follows. So basically we get them to fill out a questionnaire. I'll actually get it up so I can kind of read it and take you guys through it if that would be helpful. I'm sure you guys have some sort of thing, but I don't know about you guys. I just often forget what I'm doing, which is why I need PDFs for everything and, stuff for everything. Okay, customer care system. So basically it starts off with, and I saw that you posted something, Drummo, that was like, you've got the tiles of like, okay, this is what you've ordered, this is how much. That is like genius. I actually screenshotted it and sent it to my VA and I was like, we need to make this. So good one. I'm probably going to steal that. So I give everyone a bit of a script. I have everything like in keyboard shortcuts. So like one of my keyboard shortcut for a customer is CC1, which says, hey, I'm so excited to get you started in the program. Just confirm we're ordering you this, this, and this for 4 months. If you're keen to continue on your products at the end of your 120 days, I can help you make sure they're delivered when you run out. Or if you need an extension on your next delivery, let me know and I can handle that for you. Your payments come out on the something of each month. If you're using a debit card, please make sure the funds are available. Usually takes 3 to 5 days to ship, but can be anywhere to 10. Once they've ordered, I send them a really nice like welcome message with a questionnaire. So basically the questionnaire is like, what are your goals? What's your weight? How's your sleep? Are you going to the bathroom regularly? Like, I just get really deep and I'm like, answer what you want. You obviously don't have to answer any of it. And all my team send this out because basically what it does is it just gives them an opportunity to actually track results. So yeah, they have everything that like could possibly be asked in there. Short-term health goals, long-term health goals. Will your family be supportive? How much food do you actually cook for yourself? All of those bits and pieces. And then we follow up to make sure that we actually get that questionnaire back, because I think a lot of people will send something like that and then not remember to get it back. So I encourage all of my team to put reminders in their phone once they've got someone who is getting started. I'm like very big on making everything super simple. So I'm going to say it now and my phone's probably going to start yelling at me, but I use Hey Siri for everything. And she didn't get it. She didn't pick it up. My phone's dying. But basically like in my PDF for my customer care script, I say to my girls, like your number one thing you should do once you've got a customer is say, hey Siri, remind me to check in on Rebecca in 5 days to see that she's got her products. You don't need to touch your phone. You don't need to do anything like that takes time. You just, if you've got a Samsung, I'm sorry for you, but I don't know, find your Samsung way of doing this. This is why I have an iPhone. But yeah, hey Siri, remind me to check in 5 days. Hey Siri, remind me to message so-and-so in 3 months to see how she's going with her products. Hey Siri, remember to follow up with, okay, now she's getting me. Whatever it is that you need to use. So using Hey Siri is awesome, like awesome. So getting organized is the next step. And then we just have check-in points along the way, which again, they use Siri to get into. So 5 days after ordering, seeing if they've got their products. 2 weeks after, making sure they're taking it. So we send them a cute little flyer that's basically different ways that you can take Juice Plus. So adding it into your smoothies, keeping it next to your toothbrush, just ways to keep it in sight so they're actually taking it. And then after 3 months and 2 weeks as well, that's their last check-in, it's getting them to fill in the questionnaire again to see what's changed and what's gone down for them and their health. Because for a lot of people, as I'm sure you guys understand, a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't know if I'm seeing any differences, but you'd be amazed when you send them this questionnaire first. You look over it and go, oh, you weren't sleeping well, but now you are. Oh, you notice this, this, and this. When you're checking in with people in that way and pointing out what you can see has changed based on their answers, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Whereas I used to get people being like, I don't know if I'm feeling any different. Like maybe I'm more energetic. And you're like, are you going to the toilet every morning? Because I bet you are now. Which is probably too much information, but I'm pretty open with all my customers. But my whole thing with customer care is like 10 minutes of setting someone up properly can mean that they're a customer for life. Like that is one of my biggest, like it does not take that much time to keep someone a customer. And I have like, probably about 15 to 20 people who are just, they're customers, they're never going anywhere, they get their reshipment, they're happy. Every now and then they'll pause it for some reason, they go away and they forget to take it. but just, you know, it's not a lot, but it's enough to keep me like with customers. And then, you know, I'll just continue to build up on that bank and always have people that are there that I've really taken care of. And I look back to the beginning when I didn't do customer care, and I'm like, I lost so many people who actually had really good results with the products, but I lost them because I didn't take care of them, you know. And to be honest, you have like an identity around who you are for these people. You don't have to be a health professional or a health coach or a personal trainer or a life coach or a doctor or whatever it is, but you are someone for these people, and figuring out what you are for people, and then not just being like a salesperson of Juice Plus, but being their, you know, accountability ambassador, their accountability coach, or their, you know, Juice Plus ambassador, or whatever it is for you, knowing that you're that person for someone and making sure that you're showing up as though that's your job. Because especially like if you're an SC, you know, and you have someone ordering premium, you're actually making quite good money off that order from doing very little. So it's like, you know, you want to you kind of want to work for it. You know what I mean? I recommend.
Yeah, love it. Love that. And that's just pure gold. Alison's asking, are you happy to share your shortcuts?
Yeah, well, I've got a lot for different things, but putting it in your own language, one of them is literally, yeah, I'll copy and paste it into the thing now. I think if it'll copy and paste from a PDF. Sometimes it comes out backwards. No, it didn't. Ooh. And obviously change it to your program name and all of those bits and pieces. Here's the second one. So what I do as well when I send the PDF out is like when I send the questionnaire out is I say to them at the end, let's have a chat. When's good for you to talk, during the day or in the evening? Because I want them to fill it out, and then I want them to actually have a call with the person to talk about what they've noticed. So, oh, okay, you know, I just want to go through this questionnaire and really get deep into what's going on. And they ask quite good questions after that. So, you know, they're going to fill out the questionnaire and they're going to get like a good idea of where customers are at. But on this call, it's just going through it and then reiterating things. You know, what would life be like if you were to lose 10 kilos? You know, what would it actually feel like? What would change? You know, what's one thing that you learnt about yourself from filling out this questionnaire? You know, asking those questions and having that chat after they fill it out. Again, it's just, you're just creating such a good connection with your customer. And then, you know, I don't know who said it, maybe Linda, but people will check out of people won't check out of a relationship. You know, they'll cancel an order, but they won't cancel a friendship. And if you've got a friendship and a relationship where people know that you care, then that's all you need. If that helps.
Yeah, it's so true. It really is. And it doesn't cost much to show people how much you care. Like, it doesn't have to cost anything. Like, we've got so many value adds that we can give people these days. Like, even just sending them a short meditation or a quick workout that you've come across, or, you know, a documentary that, you know, that's made sense to you. You know, there's just so much that you can send people for free these days, like different ebooks, different recipe books and everything. So don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money, because you don't. All right. Does anyone have any further questions before we wrap this up? Anyone else? Do I have to do a countdown or something? Play some music, thinking music? All right. Well, I do have one last question.
Yes.
And we ask this to all our guests that come on the call. And it's, if you could put a message on a billboard or a quote or something on a billboard for the world to see, what would your message be?
Oh, wait, like Juice Plus related or just anything related?
Just anything, like maybe something like maybe it could be a quote that's got you through, you know.
I will probably butcher this quote, and I can't even remember who said it. But it was something along the line. I remember I used to actually have it on my vision board, which when I moved house, I threw out all my vision boards. It was, be grateful for what you have while you're building your dream life. And then I'm going to have to Google it.
Yeah, we need the ending.
We need the ending.
It's like, what is it? This must be the secret to everything.
While you pursue, sorry, not build. I'm going to find this quote. I'm going to find it.
We will wait.
It's Jim Rohn.
Yes.
No, it's not. It might be Roy T. Bennett. Of course, my internet's so slow. Oh, no, here we go. No, it's not Jim Rohn. He did do a quote similar. It is Roy T. Bennett, and he says, here it is, pop-ups. Be grateful for what you already have while you pursue your goals. If you aren't grateful for what you already have, what makes you think that you would be happy with more?
Oh, love it.
I love that. I love that because it's just like that kind of thing, like especially when you're here in this business especially, and you've got so much more than income. Like you've got an amazing community, you've got such amazing personal development, you've got a health product that literally changes and saves people's lives. You've got all of these things. So if you think you're going to be happy when you're an MD or when you're SC or when you're 10,000 club or whatever it is, but you're not happy now, what makes you think you'll be happy then? And like I feel like most people along the way would get this, where when I like hit certain goals, immediately I'm like, okay, on to the next, and I didn't even enjoy it. I'm like, why did I do that? Like actually enjoy what you're going through right now and be happy with what you've got in this moment, because yeah, we've got like very, very damn special thing here, if you ask me.
We do. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad you finished with that. You know, Simon Mitchell actually got us to do something. He took us down to the beach one morning when the sunset was rising, and he played a song, and he basically said, you've got to write down 50 things that Juice Plus has given you. And people had tears coming down, and it was just the most emotional thing, because when you really think about it, we have an incredible gift in our hands, and it is so much more than fruits and vegetables in a capsule. You know, it's so hard to explain everything that this business gives you, you know, the caliber of people that you're surrounded by. And we must admit, we've been surrounded by an incredible woman tonight, Anne Simson, who's given us her time. Thank you so much, honey. That was absolute gold. And I'm pretty sure, Joel, we won't have to delete this one. It's been compliant. We've been caught and had to delete a few of our training videos, Ange. It's crazy because they haven't been compliant, which is ridiculous because it's only for team anyway, but...
I'm glad I'm compliant. Jeez.
But this has been awesome. Thank you so much. And we really, really appreciate you jumping on. We know you've got a million other things you could be doing right now, but thank you so much for taking the time to be on the call with us. And if Joel, if you can take everyone